All right, let's dive deep into AI today. We're going to be looking at a company called DeepSeek. They're really making waves even among the giants like Google and Meta,
Yeah.
with a huge breakthrough in training those digital brain, large language models.
LLMs.
LLMs, yeah. What's wild is just how they did it.
Yeah, they managed to train a massive LLM called Mixture of Experts, and it's got a mind-boggling 671 billion parameters. It's like a network with 671 billion connections all working together.
It's incredible, right? And they did all this in just 2 months, which is 10 times faster than what companies like Meta have been able to achieve.
Hmm.
Tom's hardware's been all over this.
Yeah.
And they're saying DeepSeek's got this really unconventional approach to programming their hardware, specifically those powerful NVIDIA H800 GPUs.
Yeah, instead of using CUDA, which is like the go-to for programming these GPUs, DeepSeek went with something called PTX.
PTX, I haven't heard of that before.
Most people haven't. It stands for parallel thread execution. It's
Yeah.
basically talking to the GPUs on a much lower level, almost like you're speaking directly to the hardware itself.
So it's like choosing to speak this super efficient language, but it takes way more expertise to do it.
Exactly. And that's the thing with DeepSeek. They weren't going for the easy route. They wanted to squeeze every ounce of performance out of those GPUs, even if it meant mastering this really difficult thing, PTX.
I can't imagine it was just a matter of swapping a few lines of code. What kind of work went into this?
They really dug deep. The article even mentions they reconfigured the H800 GPUs. They dedicated specific parts of them for server-to-server communication. Think of it like making dedicated lanes in the GPU to handle all the data flow way more efficiently.
So they redesigned how the traffic flows within the GPU itself.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And on top of that, they're using these advanced pipeline algorithms, which are all about breaking down that huge task of training the AI into smaller, more manageable pieces so they could process things simultaneously and speed up that whole training process.
So it's like they took a high-performance engine and meticulously tuned each part for max speed.
And that kind of optimization takes serious technical expertise. It's not just about understanding the software, but the hardware architecture down to the nuts and bolts.
It's no wonder this is shaking things up in the tech world. What's been the reaction like from other companies?
It's been a mix of shock and some concern, especially from the big players. Investors are paying attention, that's for sure. NVIDIA's stock took a hit, which says a lot.
So all this technical stuff, why should the average person care about what DeepSeek's doing?
Well, imagine a world where making advanced AI doesn't need those massive server farms and huge budgets. What DeepSeek's done with this efficiency? It could open up things for smaller companies and researchers who couldn't compete before.
So instead of a few big companies calling all the shots with AI, we could see more variety and innovation coming from all sorts of places.
Exactly. It could really democratize AI development and lead to all these new applications and solutions that benefit everyone. Of course, some people are skeptical. They wonder if this will actually reduce the need for all this high-end hardware, or if it'll just lead to even more demand for powerful systems.
That's a really good point. There's definitely a lot to unpack here. So let's keep digging into the technical side of DeepSeek's breakthrough. This whole PTX approach seems to be the key. What makes it so powerful?
Right.
And why isn't everybody using it?
Well, think of it this way. CUDA is like driving an automatic. It's convenient and gets you where you're going. But you don't really have much control over how the engine performs.
Okay, I get that. So where does PTX fit in?
PTX is like driving a manual. You got to shift gears yourself. But you can fine-tune everything the engine does, getting the most power and efficiency out of it.
So DeepSeek basically ditched the automatic comfort of CUDA. For the raw power of PTX, they went full manual.
Exactly. And remember how they reconfigured those NVIDIA H800 GPUs? That shows their deep understanding of hardware.
Right, those dedicated lanes they created within the GPU for server-to-server communication. It's like optimizing the traffic flow inside the hardware itself.
Exactly. It frees up other parts of the GPU to just focus on the AI training calculations. Like they made an express lane for data, so the rest of the traffic flows smoothly without getting jammed up.
That's really smart. It's not just about writing code that's efficient. It's about making the whole system work perfectly, from the software down to the hardware itself.
And that's what sets DeepSeek apart. They see the whole picture of AI development. It's not just about the algorithms, it's about the whole ecosystem working together.
So what's next for DeepSeek? Will they keep pushing the limits of PTX programming?
That's the big question. They've shown everyone what's possible. But staying at this level of optimization is tough. It takes a lot of talent, and the hardware is always changing.
That reminds me of something you said earlier. Some people are worried this could lead to even more demand for powerful hardware.
And it's a valid worry. If DeepSeek can do this with what we have now, imagine what they could do with the next generation of GPUs. It could be like an arms race for processing power, with everyone trying to outdo each other.
That makes me wonder about the future of AI development. Will we see other companies following DeepSeek's lead? Or will they just focus on building even more powerful hardware to stay ahead?
It's a tough choice. DeepSeek's success might inspire a new wave of innovation, companies focusing on optimizing software and existing hardware to get those amazing results.
But at the same time, who wouldn't want more power, right? It's tempting to just keep building bigger and faster machines, even if it means sticking with more traditional programming methods.
And that's what's so interesting about all of this. It's like a crossroads for AI development. We can choose between two paths: elegance and efficiency, like DeepSeek, or chasing after raw power.
It's like a philosophical debate about progress. Do we do more with less, or keep pushing the limits of what's possible? DeepSeek has definitely thrown a wrench in the gears.
And it's a wrench that could change everything. It'll be fascinating to see how the industry reacts to this challenge.
It definitely feels like we're at a turning point. DeepSeek's shown us that there's another way to do AI development, one that prioritizes efficiency and really understanding things deeply over just throwing more hardware at a problem.
It's refreshing to see. It'll be interesting to see if anyone else can do what they've done. After all, their team has this rare mix of skills, and they aren't afraid to dive into the details of both hardware and software.
Speaking of details, let's get back to PTX for a minute. We talked about how powerful and complex it is.
Yeah.
But for those of us who aren't, programming whizzes, can you explain why it's so hard to work with?
Imagine trying to build a house, but you have to place each brick by hand, instead of using walls or pre-made sections. That's kind of what PTX is like. It gives you total control, but you need to know exactly how everything works at the most basic level.
So, no room for mistakes.
Ah.
One wrong brick, one wrong line of code, and the whole thing falls apart.
Exactly. It's not easy. You need a level of precision and attention to detail that most programmers just don't have the time or the skills for.
Which makes what DeepSeek did even more amazing. Not only did they master this crazy complex language, but they used it to optimize a piece of hardware that was already cutting edge.
It's a real testament to their engineering talent, and it sets a new standard for the whole industry. They've proven that there's so much more to discover. Even with technology we thought we knew inside and out.
It makes you wonder what other breakthroughs are out there, if we're willing to go beyond the easy way of doing things.
Absolutely. And that's the real lesson from DeepSeek's story. Innovation can come from anywhere, from those who are willing to question things and explore new territory.
It's pretty inspiring, and it definitely gives us a lot to think about. What does this mean for the future of AI? Will we see a shift towards more efficient approaches like DeepSeek's? Or will the race for more and more processing power just keep going?
It's hard to say, but DeepSeek has shaken things up for sure. They've shown us that there's a different way to do things in AI, one that emphasizes doing things well and efficiently. That's a powerful message for the whole industry.
So for anyone listening who's into AI, keep an eye on DeepSeek. They're a company to watch. And their story isn't over yet.
And who knows, maybe their work will inspire a new generation of AI developers to think differently, to challenge what they know, and to push the limits of what's possible.
That's a great way to wrap things up. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you learned something new, and maybe you're even feeling a little inspired to learn more about AI. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.